Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Thank you for being with us today. Happy you have stayed with us. If you got a question, time for garden questions and answers. If you got a question, send it on over to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Or give us a call toll free, coast to coast at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. If we can't get to you, leave a message. We'll call you back with the answer to your question.
That intro music was kind of poppy and like kind of questioning, like game showy, like
Yeah.
Welcome back to the garden show.
Yeah. Guess the showcase showdown. Yeah, I keep you jumping with the intros.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. What poppy thing can I find today? All right, we got a number of questions come in. We'll see how many we get through to the top of the hour.
So this one came in from my boss.
Uh-huh.
My boss, he grew a garden for a while, and then he moved and was building a house and doing all this stuff, and then he's got gardening questions again, and I'm not mad about it. So he wants to know, he wants to plant some seeds this weekend, but then there's rain in the forecast, and he wanted to know, should I plant the seeds right before it rains? Is that good for them? Is that bad for them? What's going on?
Well, you're not a farmer. What I mean by that is, if the rain's coming, you want to make that planter go.
Muck it in.
You want to get that planter across the field a lot quicker, because if you're planting soybeans or corn, you want it to, because the reason I say that, in big ag, there's a long period that you can't get in the field if it's rained in order to get your implement down the field in order to plant. Otherwise, you're just going to destroy the whole, rut it up and get stuck. In the backyard garden or front yard garden, raised bed gardening, you can plant before a rain. However, it depends on what type of rain you're going to get. Is it going to be an all-day drizzle? Plant. Are they calling for thunderstorms or potential downpours? Hold off and wait, because if it's just a drizzle, you can plant your seeds, and it's going to pitter paddle of rain on the seed, the soil, and the seeds will get hydrated, and everybody will be happy. Gully washer, an inch in 2 hours, those seeds have left the garden.
Gully washer.
Yeah, and we're seeing that more and more frequently.
Yeah.
So you want to wait, and then you can still plant the seeds when the soil is like moist, not sopping wet. If you've already got the soil tilled, or a tilth in which you are going to plant, and it rains, you can just shove your finger, if you're planting beans, and just push it and cover it over. You'll be fine. You don't have to disturb much of the soil, and the beans will hydrate quicker because the soil is already moist. But depends on what type of situation is coming, whether you should or shouldn't plant. And the same thing is true with plant starts. If it's going to be an all-day drizzle and you've hardened your plants off and everything's good, put them in the ground. But if it's going to be one of those traditional, downpours, and they're calling for strong winds, you want to wait until your plant, get the plant in on a nice day, let the plant get established, and then throughout the season you're going to have those, but the plant is, already in the ground and kind of rooted in and happier.
Yeah. So here's our next. Oh,
yeah, with these garden questions, it's not a hard, fast yes or no.
Right.
A lot of things take a little bit explanation, because it's a very variable and changing.
Well, the reason he asked is because we had taught him, because he likes to grow carrots. We had taught him about putting the cardboard over the carrot seeds to keep the moisture in. So he was like, well, isn't the rain good for the seeds? And I had to explain that not always. And
we've told this story on the program before, where we were going, and for example, if we're going to plant tomatoes this weekend, I had the soil already loosened up, and we were supposed to get rain like Wednesday night, Thursday, and Friday. Well, obviously you can't plant because it's going to be a soggy mess. I have taken tarps and laid in the garden over top of where the tomatoes were going to be planted. So Saturday I could come in and gently pull the tarps off and plant the tomatoes in dry soil, so progress could be accomplished on the time in which we had available, and we didn't have to wait multiple days or weeks in order to get back in the garden and plant those tomatoes. So that is based on the size of your garden. If you got containers or raised beds or something like that, you can cover it in order to get to the point where you now have time to plant, and it has already rained, but that area is dry because you had it covered.
Absolutely. So here's another question. I have several oversized zucchini, and I thought they would be woody to try to eat Is that the case or not? What should I do with them?
Last year, she says.
Oh, last year.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense now. I'm like, is this a question from down under?
Well, no, there people growing zucchini in the South right now.
Oh, that's true.
South in California.
True.
So
Yeah.
we have podcast listeners in all 50 states. So yes, if a zucchini plant, if you let that zucchini, I'll pick it tomorrow, and then you forget, and then it's 18 inches long and 7 inches in diameter, it can be very dense and tough to consume because the seeds are much larger and the fibers are much more predominant there. But there is some things in which you can do with an oversized zucchini. You can make zucchini bread. You can actually take the zucchini and split it down the center and remove the seeds, and then a lady at a farm stand taught us this one. You peel it, take the seeds out, and cube it up in decent sized chunks.
You peel it.
Peel it.
Yeah.
Remove the skin.
Sounds like you said pill it.
No, peel it.
You peel it.
Yeah, and then make an apple pie. Do everything to the apple pie except for add the apples. Substitute apples with the zucchini, and nobody will be any the wiser. So that's something you can do. And you can also make zucchini relish. You can also make pickled zucchini, probably not with something of that magnitude. But there is a number of things in which you can do with a very large zucchini outside that you're not having to throw it in the compost pile and letting it rot. All right, what have you found to be the best row markers? Everything I have tried doesn't seem to work. It washes off, and I forget where I often put the notebook that I had notes in of what stuff was planted where.
All right, so we use window blinds.
Which does the same thing, but aluminum can. Inscribe.
Oh, yeah.
Inscribe, you take an aluminum can and cut the top and bottom off, and then you have the sleeve there, and then you cut that and open it up, and you can cut however wide or narrow of tags you want, and you take a pen and inscribe your name of vegetable, and you can wrap it around a tomato cage, an eggplant cage, a pepper cage, or if you have a steak, you can nail it to the steak or staple it to the steak, or if it's long enough, you can wrap it around the steak. If you go to our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, we do have, you search row markers, that video will pop up. And it's a unique way. Now, it's you can save them from year to year or throw them in the recycling bin and get new cans next year and inscribe whatever you want. But it works really well if you're specifically trying to identify items in cages or on trellises. So with that being said, Holly, we are out of time, and we thank you for yours. It's time for What We Learned Today.
I learned that you can harvest morels in the desert. I thought that was like, a upper United States thing, more, I don't know what you call, like deciduous climate type of mushroom that you would harvest. I couldn't believe that he said he was gonna, from our guest Joseph Lofthouse, that he was harvesting morels in the desert.
I learned genetic diversity is not, I knew it wasn't a bad word, but I didn't know the in-depth workings of it, and that heirlooms and heirlooms are not as wonderful as we have all been conditioned to accept, I guess is the best way to put it. What we learned today is brought to you by honeybeehealthy.com.
Whether you're a gardener, a bee hobbyist, or a professional beekeeper, Honey Bee Healthy Inc. has the products to help you maintain a healthy hive and thriving garden. For more information on how to use Honey Bee Healthy in your garden, visit honeybeehealthy.com.